Hey everyone, good evening. My name is Dana and I'm here with Love Soul of Flowers, and we do weekly tutorials, and tonight we are going to be making a flower out of another flower that we carry. So I'm not sure if you caught our last week's video, but make sure you go check that out. We showed you how to make an iris out of a peony. So check that out, and it's two videos actually. One was making the flower and then one was dyeing the flower. So check those out, but we're gonna be doing a different flower tonight and I'm gonna tell you all about it in a minute. But first, business first, our website is lovesoulofflowers.com, and we are having a big sale right now. It's up to 70% off, and you don't need any codes or anything like that. Super easy, you just pop it in your cart and it shows you the price already for it. So you can get up to 70% off. Hi there. And yay, Tracy. And yeah, so you'll be able to get up to 70% off on certain solar flowers, and everything else is on sale too, but you don't need any coupon codes. So that is lovesoulofflowers.com. And as well as joining our community group for some inside scoop, and that is facebook.com/groups/lovesouloflowers. Hi everyone. I'm here in New Jersey and it is pouring. I feel like every single Thursday night that I do a tutorial, we have bad weather. It's pouring out. So hopefully connection stays good. We have weird weather, warm one day, cold the other day, rainy the next day, snow the next day. So it's been a little crazy here, but hopefully we keep good connection here, even though it's really, really raining out. Hey. Just gonna wait for a few more minutes just for people to come on, but we are going to be making a daffodil. And what you need for the daffodil is the flower Vida, La Vida, I think it's what it's called. And you just need water and a scissor. And that is it. I am going to dye it on here too, so I'll show you how to do that as well. So we're just going to do it because for a daffodil, you can just do one dipped color. If you do want to hand paint it, because you know some daffodils have it more where there's some white in it and some yellows and things like that. So if you want to do a hand painting and look at a picture of a daffodil, but I'm going to just show you how to dip it, okay? So this is the actual daffodil that we're going to be making. As you can see, obviously this is not dyed yet, but that's the daffodil. Okay, so we're going to be making this. And to find the flower, you can just do the search button. If you just type in Vida, V-I-D-A, it'll bring it up. And this is what it looks like untouched, okay? So you can search on our website. If you're ever looking for a specific flower, you can just type in the name of the flower, and it will pull it up for you wherever it is. So again, this is it. You can type in again V-I-D-A, and it will bring up the flower that we will be using tonight. And I just have a cup of water. It's just plain water. And I'll show you the dye when we get to that part. So let me just show you how to make it into a daffodil. And again, a lot of times we get messages about wanting us to carry certain flowers. And the thing is that they're just not made in bulk, some of these flowers that people want. Sometimes it's because the design is too difficult to make, you know, in mass production. Sometimes it's just because they only do hand tying, and some things need maybe plastic or glue or whatever, you know, that they need, and they don't do any of that when they make these and hand tie them. So I try to get creative and make it that we can use some of our flowers that we already have into other flowers. So again, we already did the closed peony into an iris, and this one we're going to use to make a daffodil. Okay, so this is what it looks like again when it starts. So what we're going to start doing is I'm going to dip my finger in the water, and I'm going to just rub it on the petal, and that will make it open. Okay, so you can dip the whole thing if you want, but I don't like the whole thing to be soggy at first, especially if we're gonna dye them. So I'm just dipping my fingers in the water and I am peeling it. It's Vida La Vida, Vida La Vida, I think it's called, V-I-D-A. I think they have them in the 2 inches right now. I believe the 3 inches just sold out for now, but it's the same concept. In fact, I didn't have any 2 inches, but I feel like a 2-inch might actually be better for this because, you know, it makes a pretty big daffodil. So anyway, you're gonna leave the top open. You're gonna peel the back row out. Okay. And the water will keep them open. You're just gonna tap it with your fingers right into the centers to keep it open. And then I'm gonna pluck every other petal. Or maybe not like every other one, depending on your spacing on your flower there. But I want it to not be overdone with petals here. Okay. So it's gonna look like that. Vida, La Vida. Am I saying it right? But it's V-I-D-A. If you type in V-I-D-A, it will search it for you. Stacy, do you mind putting up the link for this flower? Just you can search it by Vida. It's like Vida La Vida. Vida La Vida. Yeah, I'm saying it right. No, it's not Viva La Vida. I think it's Vida La Vida. Why don't I remember it? All of a sudden, I just lost it in my brain. But Stacy, can you get the link for me for them to just pop it up there? Okay, so I do this. Yeah, I mean, it's not a daffodil, but it's going to be a daffodil. We're making it a daffodil. So that's the whole tutorial tonight, is we're making it a daffodil, but it was definitely not looking like one when we started. So anyway, once I peel my petals back, I'm going to go in with a scissor. Now, I have a really nice sharp scissor. It's actually for like ribbons. And this is where I'm going to cut my petals at where it comes to a point. Now, I start it where it's kind of really pointy, and then I round out, see the shape? I round out the edge. Stacy wrote it. I don't think it's Viva La, it's Vida La Vida. Anyway, if you can just put the link up. But so I'm gonna round the edge out just a little bit, but daffodils are kind of pointy on the edges. So we wanna cut it like that. It is Viva La Vida? Okay, Viva La Vida. I always say it wrong. Okay, so see how it kind of pointed? So I'm gonna go around to all of my petals that I've now saved on the outside. And again, I don't want it too pointy, but just a quick and easy. All right. Let me just grab real fast, 1 second. I'm gonna just grab this paint thing. I'm gonna see if I have the name of the paint color here. Let me see. Sorry, everyone always asks paint color, so I was gonna go see if I have the name of the paint color. I don't have the name of the paint color right now, but I will look it up and post it for you. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going around with my little sharp scissor. And I'm gonna make points. This one, this petal's a little bit thin, but I think there's even a yellow in Bear that's called like daffodil yellow. I'm pretty sure there's actually a color that is called daffodil. Callie, we keep, she's got the link there. It's Viva La Vida. Okay, so I'm gonna go to each of the back petals. I'm gonna get them to a little point. So can you see the side view? Okay, and I'm gonna, once we dip these in the paint, I'm gonna form them a little bit better, but that's how we do it. So I'm gonna do it one more time for people who are just joining us. And the flower is called Viva La Vida, and we are turning it into a daffodil. And I'm gonna show you how. Again, we always suggest that if there's a flower you're looking for, see if you have a flower that you can turn into it with a couple little trims and a couple little plucks. It's not that big of a deal. Then you've got access to, you know, multiple styles of flower, which is one flower. So I'm dipping my fingers in the water and I'm wetting the out layer. It really does. Well, once it's yellow, you'll see. Again, right now these are in 2 inches. We have them in stock in 2-inch flowers. So I think these are the 3-inch though that I'm working with, but I actually think the 2-inch is probably better This is kind of like really, you know, big. It doesn't need to be so big for a daffodil. So again, I'm just dipping my fingers. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Okay. So now, again, I'm gonna pluck out some of them because I don't want too many on the outside. But you don't need to go too many because we are gonna trim them, so you don't wanna be like too many gaps either. Okay. Maybe this one too. They don't come in mini. Okay, so once I got my outer layer out, again, it looks weird because it's squared off when you peel them back. But we're gonna take our scissors. Again, a sharp scissor is the best because you can be nice and smooth. You're getting nice, clean edges. This is a ribbon scissor. And you're gonna make them into little points. So again, check your flowers first before you tell somebody you can't make them a certain flower if someone orders, because you might be surprised what you can come up with. Like, we just figured this out today that we can make daffodils with these, because I was saying how I love being able to do that, and I was looking at all my flowers and I'm like, oh, what other flowers can I make out of flowers? And while I was working, we were like, oh, what about a daffodil? Because that's seasonal. Real daffodils are out, so. Okay. So yeah, so here we go. Again, pointed edges. Okay, the center stays up. And I'm gonna dye them in the yellow just to show you how they look. Okay, I'm gonna dye this one in yellow, and you'll see that. I'm gonna pull this over my tray so I don't spill. Now, I've got a yellow paint here. I just looked for the container, but I don't see the container, so I'm not sure what color it is. You know what? I think it's this one. Let me see. This one might be this is Midsummer Gold. That would be a nice daffodil color. So that is Bear Brand. And like I said, I'm pretty sure it might be the Midsummer Gold. And I get the Bear Brand in the trial sizes. I get it in satin finish. And then you can put a drop of glycerin right inside your paint and water mixture. The more paint you have, the more vibrant and the, you know, thicker the opacity, is that a word? Of the paint dye for your flower. Obviously more water, it'll be more translucent. It won't be as bold of a color. But we've got in my little baggie here, I use baggies so that I can line it and then I let them dry out and I can just throw them in the trash instead of washing paint down your sink, which is not a good idea. But I've got a drop of glycerin in here as well as my paint and water. And I'm gonna dip this in. Now when you dip it in, your petals might close again, but because it'll be wet, we're just gonna pop them right back out. So let me just stick them in here. I don't have a ton of paint left in here, so let's see. I'm just gonna do it. And also, it's much easier to make these when it's on a stem. So that's another just trick, because you're able to peel back and hold on to it. I'm gonna shake the paint out, and then we're gonna just reform that outer layer again. So let's just take it. And then you can dry it standing up, or you can lay it down on your rack. But when you have the stem, you just want to make sure that your petals, your outer petals, stay open for when it dries, because once it dries, that's really how it's gonna stay. So I'm just squeezing out the extra paint here with my fingers. Okay, and then that center. So I think this yellow was mixed with another yellow because it looks a little more yellow than it does gold. But you can get the idea of the kind of shade you want by just, you know, walking into Home Depot, looking at the swatches or whatever your eye kind of goes to when you pull up a picture. That's what I always do. I pull up a picture of what I'm looking for. So you can Google daffodils, and like I always expand the picture And then that way I can hold it up to the swatches. You could dye it like this, and then you can, yeah, I know there's whiter, so you can hand paint them. You could also use a darker yellow like on the edges or in the center to give some shading. But I do think this is a really good version. I've seen other people try daffodils, and I feel like this flower has made the best daffodil, in my opinion, that I've seen. Again, the 2-inch I think is actually maybe even a better size because your inside is not so big. But this is what I've had here. So let me show you. I know it's hard for the angle to see it, but in real life you can see it obviously. But okay, so we just trimmed it. I'm gonna just put this to dry here like that. And I'm gonna show you again one that looks without the paint, just so you can see. And again, once you push the paint, then you can open up your back petals. Okay, so that's why they're a little bit warped, but once you wet it, and then you let it dry that way. Okay, so that was a Viva La Vida turned into a daffodil, and these are great. We suggest you get our stem covers for this kind of a flower, for like a daffodil, because you can certainly just put them in a glass jar and make a little arrangement of daffodils. The stem covers that we sell, it's basically a plastic straw that goes up over your wire, but it's super flexible, but still gives it a little bit more strength. And these can go in glass, and you can just tie them together. It's called a Viva La Vida. Yeah, I've seen them two-toned too. So you can definitely do hand painting and do a little bit, you know, more in-depth with the color. A lot of times when I have a lot to do though, dipping is just where I go to. Let me see if I can show you this flower. So here you go again. Here's it drying. But how pretty would that be if you did like a couple different even shades, and you just did in a glass vase, a tall glass vase, just daffodils. You don't even need greenery with daffodils. So you could just do a couple different shades of colors, and just with the stem covers, slide them right in. We also have the natural stems. The lattice stems would be cute with it, but this is what I prefer because I think it looks the most tubey, stemmy, like a real daffodil has, because real daffodils kind of have these kind of tube-like looking stems. So if you haven't tried out our stem covers, go ahead and do that. They're under supplies on our website, lovesoloflowers.com. They are on sale. And we also have flowers that are up to 70% off as well. Again, no code necessary. And make sure you follow us for videos here on our business page, which is facebook.com/lovesoloflowers. But our videos, you can't search them by title for some reason on Facebook anymore. They took away that. I don't know why they took away, but whatever they did. But you can search it through our YouTube channel, and that's just youtube.com/lovesoloflowers. And you can actually search by title. That way, if you see, you know, you don't want to go through videos to see what they're about, you can type hydrangea or lilac or daffodil or whatever, and you can find all of those videos on YouTube. So we would love to see what you create. We want to see your daffodils. So if you haven't ever used the flower Viva La Vida, go buy it now, because obviously, you know, that we only have a certain amount of stock of them, but buy them now and make some daffodils and post them in our group. That group again is facebook.com/groups/lovesoloflowers, and we'd love to see your versions of them as well. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it feels like it expands your flower opportunities, and you know what styles you're able to carry by using flowers that you may already have, and that way you can get 2 out of 1. Some flowers, maybe you can even get 3 out of 1, so we'll see. But I thought this was fun. Since we already did the iris, it was fun to turn flowers into other things. Maybe I'll do one more spring flower next week, but I hope that this was helpful for any of you that have been looking for daffodils and have been frustrated not having them. And now for the season, we've got them. So enjoy your night and enjoy your weekend, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.